Hi, everyone. I'm Kelly Jean Daymeyer. Welcome. Today, I am so excited because I'm going to be sharing with you how to break the cycle of binging and emotional eating. And I'm going to show you actually the 5 steps to transforming your relationship with food and how to transform your body and yourself. So, who is this for? This webinar is for women from all backgrounds. So, either if you're more of an emotional eater, or perhaps you suffer from more compulsive and binge eating issues. If let's just put it this way, if you have a desire to transform your relationship with food, if you want to lose weight, if you want to get your body in the best shape and the best health, then this is for you. So, in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to share with you how to end the vicious cycle of compulsive and emotional eating, even if that might seem completely impossible to you right now. And actually, how to gain mastery over everything you put in your mouth and develop a new and healthy relationship with food, and how to know exactly what to do when it comes to your nutrition and your exercise. No more confusion anymore, so that you have complete certainty that you can get your body in the best shape and actually achieve optimal health. And how to finally stop making food the go-to for your source of comfort and for your source of emotional escape. And how to uncover and how to clear out the underlying issues and actually the root causes behind your overeating. How to gain full control so that even if you're faced with the most decadent dessert, you're going to have so much control that you're going to be able to actually just have 1 or 2 bites and be done with it. And how to nutritionally minimize your cravings and balance your blood sugar, which in turn is going to balance your moods and balance your hormones. How to get your body burning fat without feeling like you're facing another fad diet or complicated way of eating. How to exercise, I say smarter rather than harder, so that you actually enjoy working out and that you're able to get the best results, but never feel vulnerable to getting an injury or feeling like you're beating your body up. I promise you today that I'm going to share with you a step by step strategy to breaking the cycle of compulsive and emotional eating and to be able to get the body you've actually been striving for. Here's just a few house rules. It's not for people who want a quick fix or want results without having to actually do the work. My success and my clients' success are really a direct result of, being completely done with living in the problem. We're really 100% committed to doing the work. And we really made getting extraordinary results our biggest priority. So we did earn our way here. And I got to tell you, it was really well worth it. All of the work was just so well worth it. And I'm going to show you the path to freedom. So I'm, also going to show you how to get a great body and great health. However, in the end, your success is really going to be up to you. So let's move on to, does this sound like you? Do you feel a void inside of yourself so that no matter how much you eat, it just feels like it cannot get filled up? Or when you get emotional, so if you get really sad or if you feel very angry or stressed out, do you find yourself eating to calm yourself down? Or do you set a new intention every day? You wake up and you say, I am not going to go to Starbucks. I am not going to get that scone. And you've got all your meals planned out, your healthy meals, only to find yourself once again just to find something off your plan and then blowing it the rest of the day. Or how about this? Every night, just like clockwork, you find yourself sitting on the couch, maybe you're watching a nice movie, and then all of a sudden you get that overwhelming urge to eat that you just simply cannot resist. Or do you process a life circumstance? Maybe you had a problem at work, or a, maybe you had an argument with a loved one, some sort of situation that was stressful, and you found yourself actually processing it behind a bag of something. Do you skip out on dates or social events because you feel ashamed of your weight? Is your compulsive overeating causing excessive weight gain or other more serious problems such as diabetes or high cholesterol, high blood pressure, or perhaps even cancer? Or is it causing, how about those unexplained pains in your body or joint pain and stiffness? How about digestive problems or skin outbreaks? Maybe you have some rashes on your skin or menopause symptoms. Do you feel like this is the one problem in your life that no matter how hard you've tried, you've just been able to unresolve? Well, the great news is that those are just the symptoms. All of what I just talked about, those are just the symptoms. They're not the real problem. The real problem is that you haven't made the shifts. And once you make the shifts, here's what's going to happen. Binging and overeating is going to become a thing of the past. Your ability to handle emotions and conflict are going to be so rock solid. And you're just never going to feel like you have to console yourself with food anymore. Your confidence, it's going to go through the roof. You're going to find yourself actually wanting to see friends and socialize and meet new people. You're going to look back at overeating and binging like it was nothing more than a bad dream. And eating well and nourishing your body with the right foods and the right quantities is actually going to happen on autopilot. It's going to become your norm. All the guilt and all the shame that you feel now, well, it's going to all disappear. And you're going to love the fact that you're so in control of your eating and so in control of your emotions. Well, who am I and why should you be listening to me? My name is Kelly Jean Daymeyer, and I'm a certified life coach. I'm a nutritionist and a master fitness trainer that specializes in addiction recovery. And I've actually been in addiction recovery since 1987, and I battled, and thank God I successfully overcame every addiction, including alcohol, drugs, and nicotine. I also overcame finally and became completely free from obesity and a horrendous binge eating disorder that I'd had developed in early childhood. So since 1999, I have been helping women overcome all addictions, completely transform their health and reconnect to their joy. It's been a true blessing. So it's all about discovering the 5 shifts. So there's 5 key shifts that you've got to make in order to really completely overcome and be free from your food addictions. And most of all, really be grounded in that long-term freedom so that you never end up going back to your old ways. At the same time, to be able to create a foundation of physical health and real joy. And the great thing is, I'm going to be walking you through all 5 of them on this session. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I came to discover the 5 shifts. So again, I've been in recovery from addictions for over 31 years. And along the way, I was still struggling with food addictions. And that's my before picture there. And it was really painful. I just could not get over my food addictions. And I'd gone to so many 12-step meetings. I was in therapy. I did so much work, but really I wasn't getting anywhere with this particular addiction. And I really wasn't making any progress in the way of emotionally and spiritually. I felt very, very insecure. I just felt like I was a people pleaser. I didn't feel good enough. I wasn't worthy. Everyone else had it going on but me. So there was just all of that low self-esteem that was really running me still. And so I really felt myself I was so miserable, and I knew that I had to find a better way. So what I did was I stepped out of the conventional and the more traditional approach to recovery, and I turned toward more cutting edge, forward thinkers and leaders in the areas of personal development and spirituality and nutrition. And as I began applying all of what I was learning, oh my gosh, I was able to finally become free from my food addictions, finally. And I was actually able to physically completely transform my health. And personally, I became so strong. I became so confident in myself. And I think the greatest blessing was that I began to feel a love for myself that I had never, ever known was possible. So of course, I became certified in all those areas and became actually a total wellness life coach. And what was beautiful is what I was able to share all of this with my addiction recovery clients and actually get just tremendous results. And I mean, I'm talking about women with debilitating eating disorders became absolutely free from the obsession almost immediately. I was witnessing this. It was just incredible. And they're experiencing not only feeling free from the obsession, but suddenly all the emotions that they were eating over began to lose their charge. It was like they were just fully coming into their joy and connecting to a love that they'd been so blocked from. On top of that, of course, their bodies were transforming because they suddenly knew the right ways to approach their food and their fitness. It's really been the most beautiful blessing for me to be able to take so many women who'd been hopeless and suffering for so many years to complete freedom and complete joy and optimal health. So really the bottom line is it's really about discovering these 5 shifts and actually making these 5 shifts. So I'm going to delve right into them right now with you. The first one is identifying and changing limiting beliefs. Great quote here. As you change your mind, you change your experience. And it is so true. So your problems with food actually come from within you. They don't come from outside of you. And I think that most people, when we're addressing food addictions, address the addictions in a superficial way, right? So trying to chase that way of eating, thinking that it's that diet, it's, if I exercise enough, or if I get a different job, or it's because I'm married to somebody who eats terribly and so I will never be able to eat well, or blaming our issues with food on everything and our circumstances around us and outside of us. But really the truth is it really comes from within us. And so you got to do the inner work. You got to identify, those thoughts and beliefs that are actually keeping you stuck and really they're driving you to overeat. So it's all about changing false personal beliefs, I say. So, and it's really wonderful when you start to discover, wow, this is what's underneath and driving my eating, because then you can actually, once you identify them, you can do something about it, which is fabulous. It starts to really transform the way you start to feel about yourself. And so here are some of the examples of those. There's no use. I'm not worth it. I'll never follow through with anything in my life. Everyone else has a great life but me. Others are better than I am. So all of these are just some examples. There's many, many more, but these are just some examples of what resides in your subconscious, right? I call them the shadows. And so it doesn't matter how much we absolutely say we're going to do something, we're going to follow through with clean eating, we really feel strongly about that conviction. It doesn't matter if you've got these false beliefs and this negative self-talk just lingering in your subconscious. Is going to take you down over and over again. And also the conventional beliefs. Let's talk about those. Once a compulsive overeater, always a compulsive overeater. You're powerless over food or sugar. You're always going to have this issue. You'll never be fully in control of your food. You're sick with an incurable disease. Okay, see, that's negative programming. And when I realized that finally, for years, I was stuck in that programming, and it was actually setting me up for failure is what it was doing. So just like your problems with food come from within you, I always love to say, so do the solutions. And that is the truth. So it's all comes from within us, the problems and the solutions. So once you identify the thoughts and the beliefs that no longer work for you, right, that are keeping you stuck, then you have to do the actual reboot. And in order to heal your relationship with food, you really have to start reforming those thoughts. And when that happens, it's incredible, because what will happen is that once you start to reform them, the self-sabotaging behaviors are actually going to stop. You're no longer going to you're not going to go into that trance-like state where, you find yourself on autopilot, choosing actually the very foods that you'd sworn off. You can't believe you're doing that, right? That's that subconscious that's just taking over. And as you make this a consistent practice of reforming your thoughts, you're going to see not only are you going to overcome that, your compulsions with food, but guess what? Your entire life is going to change. And most of all, I love to say this, is the way you feel about yourself is going to change. You are going to have a strength, an inner strength, and a belief in yourself that is unstoppable. And because of that, you're going to naturally make choices that are in your best interest. It just makes sense. That's what happens. The next shift is a new way to approach pain. So think of this. This is a great analogy. Emotions get backed up like psychological sewage, and they end up stuck in our bodies with no exit valve. There's just no way out, right? So they're stuck. And so it's that time that you're processing something over a bag of chips, right? That incident at work. And guess what? All the emotions from that incident that you're feeling don't get expressed or processed properly, so they just get stuck. And not only that, but it just compounds the emotions of the remorse, the guilt, the shame of overeating, and all of what you just did from the eating. So you never really get to process the other emotions that are really going on from the incident. So in order to overcome your compulsive overeating, you really have to learn how to face these emotions. You've got to learn how to process them properly. And once you know how to face your pain, you're going to become so strong, and you're going to become so capable of facing and processing. I don't care what emotion you're going to be feeling. It doesn't matter how intense. It's not even going to occur to you to eat over it. Emotions are actually awesome. And I really want you to be able to embrace that or grasp that idea. And it's wonderful when my clients are able to finally get that. It's incredible. And the myth is your emotions are bad and you need to control your emotions at all cost. Well, guess what? That ends up costing you your life. And I'm not saying to be a loose cannon out there in the world. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that your emotions are a beautiful part of who you are, and they deserve to be acknowledged, and they deserve to be expressed by you, not suppressed, not to where you just have to try to stuff them down. And this is key. You've got to learn how to develop a new relationship with your emotional self. It just has to happen. So here's a great story. Colleen, she was 39 years old. She came to me 60 pounds overweight with a binge eating disorder, and she had had a stressful upbringing. Her parents fought constantly. She also was bullied for being overweight. And she really learned to use food and sugar early on for her source of comfort. She was a highly emotional woman. She ate over all of her feelings. And Colleen also believed that as a compulsive overeater, she was destined to being powerless over food, and that she had this incurable disease. Well, what I did was I helped Colleen identify all those thoughts and all those beliefs that actually stemmed from the wounds of her past that she was hanging on to. And she actually started to reclaim her power by creating a new set of beliefs, new perspectives. So what happened was she no longer felt victimized by her past. Suddenly it was like all of what she was feeling pained about it was like starting to just transcend and diffuse. And she actually developed a new set of beliefs that were actually healthier and much, much more empowering. So she stopped eating over her emotions. She began to embrace her emotions. She finally let go of identifying herself as a compulsive overeater with an incurable disease. That was such a wonderful moment when she had that. She really realized that was not serving her anymore to think that way. And as a result of all of this, she stopped binging. She lost 57 pounds, and she developed a healthy relationship with food and completely transformed her body. It was beautiful. The next shift is correcting physical imbalances. And this has to happen. Physical imbalances, they lead to depression. They actually lead to anxiety. They will lead you to mood swings, and I always say legitimate physical cravings. And so we have to do this through nutrition. We use nutrition, we use supplements and fitness to actually correct imbalances in the body. It's wonderful to do that. And people really don't understand they don't understand how important it is to get these three things right. And you really have to, if you want to get beyond your compulsions, if you want to get beyond any of your addictions, you've got to be able to correct the physical imbalances. So let's break that down. Nutrition, this is key. So blood sugar stabilization is really the number one foundational principle behind I don't care what you're doing with nutrition. If you're paleo, if you're vegetarian, you really need to be blood sugar stabilizing. And everyone should be doing it, but especially people with addictions, because this is what's going to balance your moods. This is going to balance your hormones, right? And then it's going to stabilize your blood sugar so that your metabolism starts to build and you start to burn fat really, really well. You're going to combine certain proteins with certain fats and carbohydrates. You eat those together and you eat them in certain ratios and at certain intervals. And that's how you actually achieve this stabilized blood sugar. And so I always tell everybody when they come to me, you're not as crazy as you think. Because when you stabilize your blood sugar, you are going to stabilize your brain chemicals and your hormones, which in turn is going to cause you to start to feel more emotionally balanced and grounded. So by blood sugar stabilizing, you're going to minimize your cravings. You're going to have loads of energy throughout the entire day. Think of this. It's going to be like putting wood on the fire as opposed to newspaper on the fire. So when you bring your macronutrients together, your fats, your carbs, your proteins, you eat them in certain ratios at certain intervals, then you're going to create that wood burning effect. So that's going to give you that energy throughout the day. And that's also going to cause your metabolism to start to correct itself. And that is when the body, the fat will just start to release into the bloodstream and just get utilized as fuel. And that happens really, really efficiently. Weight loss, I always say, is a given by eating this way. But what I also say is it's just the great side effect. There's much more meaningful things obviously happening in the body, but we all love weight loss, right? So supplements are crucial. Think of yourself as this. You are a human being that is made from proteins, you're made from fats, you're made from carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids. That's what we are made from. So every tissue in our bodies are made from all of these macronutrients and micronutrients. So your enzymes in your body, your antibodies, your immune system, of course, your muscle, your hair, your teeth, your skin, cell membranes, they're all made from proteins, fats, carbs, vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids. So people forget this. They don't realize, they forget they're made from all of this, right? So if you're deficient, which by the way, most people are, it's going to have absolute devastating consequences on your overall health. It's going to have absolute devastating effects on your organ function. Your brain chemicals are going to start to burn down. That's why you feel depressed or anxiety. Adrenal glands are going to take a hit. So is your thyroid. And this is going to have a direct effect on your moods, your energy, your sleep. It's going to cause cravings because the body is going to just keep trying to make up for what it has lost. So you really need to know how to correctly incorporate supplements because there's actually a real strategy to it. Are we trying to fill in deficiencies? Are we going to heal your adrenals? Are we going to create gut repair? So you've got to know what types of supplements you need to be able to accomplish specific things that are going on with you, with your health. And you also really have to know which supplements are of good quality because there's a whole lot of supplements out there, believe me, that are really not good quality and you really aren't absorbing them. So here's another one, revolutionize your fitness. Most people with compulsive overeating issues are really not thinking about how to approach their exercise to create balance in the body. Instead, what they're doing is trying to counteract a binge or burn calories or beat their body into shape. People with addictions already have severe imbalances as well. So I really have a hard time when I see on TV or when I see in a gym, people that are overweight being taken through extreme exercises that are really dangerous, that really they cause injuries and they're completely counterproductive. This is a real pet peeve of mine. So if you're really overweight and it's hard for you to move your body, just start walking for now. 30 minutes, 45 minutes, just start walking. But people who have just like 20 pounds, 25 pounds, or maybe they're known to get in and start over exercising. This is what I want to warn you. I want to warn you that more is not better. And most people are really over exercising. They're really in a state of accelerated aging. And this is going to make you fat. It's going to make you sick. It's going to cause cravings. If you're out there trying to run half marathons, or you're in that spin class room 3-4 times a week, because you're trying to counteract a binge and burn calories. This is really going to make you sick. It's going to absolutely have a huge effect on your health. Overexercising can cause adrenal fatigue. It can cause thyroid imbalances. And I always call them the Napoleons of the body, these glands, because they're small, but they're responsible for every function in every tissue, gland, and organ of our bodies. So we've really got to keep these organs healthy. And these are actual health conditions. If you've got adrenal fatigue, if you've got a thyroid imbalance, this is a health condition, and it's going to cause emotional, physical cravings. It's going to have devastating impact on your overall health. So you really have to take care of these major glands. Nutrition, supplements, and fitness. They're all three keys to balancing your moods and minimizing your cravings and having more energy and better sleep, great health, and an awesome looking body. So Kathy's story here, was amazing. She had huge obsessions with food. So, and when she came to me, she was just completely isolated in her house, and she did not feel a part of this world. She too had some real painful memories from her childhood. And so what I did is I helped her identify negative self-talk, old beliefs that were no longer true, that were no longer serving her. And I helped her identify actually the truth about how incredible, how amazing she actually was. And what was beautiful is to watch her come into that understanding. She actually started to absolutely see that truth about herself. And her whole world changed. It was beautiful to watch. And she also learned how to blood sugar stabilize with her nutrition. We got her deficiencies corrected. We got her adrenals taken care of. And it was amazing, amazing. She was D3 deficient. So we got her D3 levels up. Her life completely shifted. Her obsession with food lifted. We got her body to a healthy weight. And it was so neat to watch her. She actually moved on to becoming a high-performing marketing coach. She developed a wonderful community of friends, and she continues to thrive today. These shifts also changed my life as well. It was when I made these shifts that I was able to really absolutely transform my relationship with food. And not only that, but it has enabled me to maintain a healthy weight for over 20 years. And the cool thing is that I'm in full menopause and I'm in the best health of my life. I am completely symptom free. I have never had to go on medications, no hormone replacement therapy. It's been wonderful. But I think the greatest thing for me is that I've been able to fulfill my dreams as a total wellness life coach and help others. And because of all of this, I really have to say that I'm living an extraordinary life. So let's do a quick recap. So now at this point, we know that, right? We have to uncover and we have to discover what drives us to compulsively overeat. And then we have to actually, do the work of, we have to get rid of those and actually shift them and change those limiting and false beliefs. And then from that, we start to create a new reality. We know that we need to learn how to face all of our emotions. We actually have to develop a relationship with them and embrace them. We have to address and correct all of the physical imbalances by dialing in our nutrition and getting our supplements right and, approaching our fitness in the right ways. And this shift here is a beautiful shift, and it is a must. Surrendering to love. In order to conquer your food addictions, you've got to surrender your self-will. It just has to happen. This is an area of your life that you've been trying to control on your own, which has been causing you to go deeper and deeper into the problem. The reason why this is the hardest thing for every compulsive overeater to do, surrender, right? Surrender the self-will, is because what happens is you think that if you surrender, then you're going to lose even more control and that you're going to gain even more weight because it feels like you're surrendering to nothing. You just think you're surrendering to nothing. But really, what you're surrendering to is you're surrendering to love. And when you surrender to that love, it is incredible. That's where all of the real power is. That's where you're going to gain true control because the love is much greater than your addiction. So you're not surrendering to nothing. You're surrendering to a greater love that is the most powerful force that is much, much, much greater than your addiction. And by the way, most people are taught, I was taught to think that God or love was outside of me, right? But it's not true. And when you have the experience, this was the greatest thing that happened for me, was when I finally had the experience that love was inside of me, that it resides within me, that I am that love. So when you really have that experience, that you are that true and wondrous expression of love, you're going to finally feel filled up. Food is actually no longer going to take the place of love. You're no longer going to make it your altar. And this is really the ultimate answer to getting beyond your food dependencies. So maybe you already have a strong relationship and faith with God. Maybe you do. But this is an area of your life that you haven't known how to surrender. You haven't known how to surrender this particular problem to that divine source. So what I do is I help people identify, what their truth is about God, what their faith is and their love, and what their belief is about love. And from there, I help them formulate a daily plan of action that's actually in alignment with their truth, with their faith, with their language, because everybody has their own belief. And it's all about honoring that. And it's just about making sure that, though, we're developing a plan of action that's in alignment with that truth. So just like you avoid your painful emotions, oftentimes you're also avoiding love, joy, and peace. It's very interesting how this happens, because we all actually have a threshold of how much love and how much joy we're able to experience. But the great thing is there's ways to remove that threshold and actually expand into more love and allow it to allow ourselves to, actually expand into it more and more. And when you do this, you're going to stop using food to sabotage your peace. You're no longer going to sabotage your joy and your happiness. The fifth shift here is investing in a mentor. This had to happen for me. And everyone should have a mentor. A good mentor is going to provide 4 things: accountability, new perspectives, the wisdom and the experience to lead you out of the problem and into the solutions, and definitely all the components to help you build a foundation for lasting success. That's really, really important. And I would never have been able to do any of this on my own. It just wasn't happening. You would not have made time, right, for this webinar unless you're seeking out a way out of your problem with food and you're wanting answers. You're wanting real solutions. And I'm sure you're wanting lasting changes. And I personally have spent thousands of dollars on mentors to get where I am today. And I got to tell you, it was the best investment I've ever made. And yeah, it's always a big decision. But in the end, there's no way I could have gotten here without that help. Trying to deal with this problem alone, as you know, is futile. And it really can result in chronic depression, serious health issues. So I really, really stress and recommend that you find the best mentor out there and you really spend what it takes to work with them. Because here's what you're going to get when you work with a mentor. You're going to start to shift beliefs, right? And you're going to start to create old beliefs and negative talk, negative self-talk. You're going to start to create a new reality. You're going to be held accountable to take certain actions, because guess what? It's in your steps. It's in those action steps that's going to create the change. And all of this is going to produce an outcome, which is your freedom from compulsive, this vicious cycle, right? That you're in right now. You're going to get that freedom. You're going to have finally physical health. You're going to feel so wonderful in your body and come into that personal joy. And that's really what it's all about. So the questions are, how severe is your problem? And how long have you been dealing with it? And is this, if this is wreaking havoc in your life right now and has been for a long, long time, and you're unhappy, then you really do need a new mindset. You really need a plan. You've got to get some, you got to get that accountability. And so you really need a mentor. So today I promised you that I was going to show you how to end the vicious cycle of compulsive and emotional eating. And even if that seems completely impossible to you right now. And I promised that I was going to show you how to gain mastery over everything you put in your mouth and develop a new and healthy relationship with food, and how to clear up all your confusion about nutrition and exercise so that you know exactly how to get your body in the best shape and in the best health. How to finally stop making food the go-to for your source of comfort, your source of emotional escape. how to uncover and how to clear out the underlying issues or root causes behind your overeating, how to gain full control so that whenever you're faced with even the most decadent dessert, you're not going to have that overwhelming angst, or, and that you can actually take one or two bites and be done with it. And how to nutritionally minimize your cravings and balance your blood sugar, your brain chemicals, and your hormones and your moods, and get your body burning fat without feeling like you're facing yet another fad diet or complicated way of eating. And how to exercise smarter instead of harder, and actually enjoy working out and be able to get the very best results without ever feeling as without ever getting an injury or feeling like you're beating your body up. So here's what you need to succeed. You need to identify and change your limiting beliefs. You really need a new approach to pain. You've got to correct those physical imbalances. You really do need to surrender your self-will, and you need to surrender to love and really get that support. These 5 shifts alone are enough for you to transform your relationship with food, to transform your body, and really get the life that you really want. So now you have a choice, right? You can take the information I gave you and you can forget all about it. You can go back to the way things were. You can continue to wake up in the morning devastated after yet another binge. You can continue stopping and starting different diets. You can continue to see your weight creep up year after year after year. And maybe you'll go on a crash diet and lose some of it, but then you're going to go back to your old habits. You're going to gain it all back again. And you're going to be that much more frustrated with yourself. You can keep on not being able to go places where you want to go. You can feel ashamed of your body and not be able to wear the clothes you want to wear. Or if you're ready to end your battle with food once and for all and finally be free from the cravings and the nonstop thoughts about food, if you're ready to experience the joys of what it feels like to be in a healthy body with no more health conditions or issues, no more layers of fat, or if you're ready to go into stores and be able to pick out the very clothes you thought you'd never be able to wear, or how about waking up in the morning where you feel your body feels light and you actually feel full of energy and you're relieved to know that the frenzied eating is a thing of the past and that this is now your new normal. If this is what you want, then here's what I have for you. I've set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak with you personally about how you can apply these ideas into your life starting today. Whatever your biggest challenges are, I've seen it and I know how to overcome it. And so on this session, what I'll do is I'll work with you to put together a step-by-step plan to end the vicious cycle of compulsive and emotional eating, and to be able to gain mastery over everything you put in your mouth and develop a new and healthy relationship with food, and to be able to get your body in the best shape ever and to be able to get it in its best health. And the cost, absolutely free. So when you come on the call, here's what we'll do. We're going to get clear on 3 things, okay? The number one thing is the biggest personal and health issues that you're facing right now as a result of your compulsive and emotional eating. And number 2, we're going to look at some of the root issues that you've been eating over and some of the most immediate best actions that you can take. So who is this for? Well, you've got to be feeling a sense of urgency to resolve your issues with food. You've got to be ready to really want to do that now. And you have to have a desire to improve your physical health. You've got to be someone who's fully accountable, and you really do have to be coachable. And if this is you, then book a session now. And why am I doing this? Well, I do this because I love giving back. I love helping other women overcome addictions and experience freedom and achieve what I always say, the great life that they deserve. And plus, yeah, I know that you might want my help in overcoming this problem and transforming your health. And if so, well, we can discuss it and we can see if it's a good fit for both of us. And if not, that's fine too. So here's what you do. You go to kellyjeanwellness.com/apply. By the way, spaces are very limited, so it's real important to sign up as soon as possible here. And you might see a little button appear, and you can just press on that button, and you're going to go to a calendar page. And so what you'll do is you're going to see some available appointment times. Go ahead and pick one. Just grab whichever one works for you. After that, you're going to be taken to a really short application. It's about 5 or 6 questions. So fill that in really quickly, and then I'm going to get on that call with you at the appointment time that you picked. And it's going to be the best 45 minutes you've ever spent working on this issue. So again, you'll see that button, click on it, or you can go to kellyjeanwellness.com/apply. And I'm going to speak to you very, very soon. But first, before I go here, I want to just tell you another quick, great story. I had this woman come to me, and she had terrible skin outbreaks, tremendous pain, radiating throughout her body. And she knew that all this was from her sugar addiction. She was 80 pounds overweight. She was also, on top of everything, suffering from menopause symptoms. So immediately, of course, we went into this deeper emotional, spiritual work, all the nutritional work. It was almost immediate. The skin rashes that she had all over her body just totally cleared up. It was amazing. Pain went away. Her cravings went away. She started losing weight. I think the most wonderful thing was just to see her so happy and to feel like she finally got her life back. And this is why I do what I do. Ladies, it's been great talking with you. Again, go to kellyjeanwellness.com/apply, and I will speak to you very, very soon. Bye-bye.